Young pilots ignored the old man at the Airshow until he climbed into the F-16. The air smells like jet fuel and summer grass. Nellis Air Force Base, Nevada. Late afternoon sun cutting low across the tarmac, turning everything gold and shadow. The kind of light that makes metal look alive. F-16s lined up like predators at rest. Sleek, angular, patient. Their canopies gleaming, their silence temporary. This is an airshow weekend. Families spread blankets on the flight line. Kids point at patches on flight suits. Cameras click. Hot dogs sizzle. And everywhere, the sound of engines warming up. That low, rolling thunder that makes your chest vibrate before your ears even register it. Near the flight line, a group of young pilots gathers, fresh out of training, sharp uniforms, sharper egos. They lean against a fuel truck, sunglasses on, arms crossed, trading stories about sortie times and G-forces and close calls that probably weren't that close. The kind of talk that comes easy when you're 25 and invincible, and the sky belongs to you. One of them notices the old man first. He's walking slowly along the edge of the crowd, maybe 70, maybe older. Khaki pants, a plain blue shirt, a cap with a faded insignia nobody bothers to read. He moves carefully, like someone whose knees remember things his face won't talk about. His hands are steady, but his gait is deliberate, measured. "Check out Grandpa," one pilot mutters, nodding toward him. The others glance over, a few smirks. Nothing cruel, just the casual dismissal. Youth gives age when it forgets what age has already survived. "Bet he flew crop dusters," another says. "Bet he drove crop dusters." Laughter, light, harmless. They turn back to their conversation. The old man doesn't seem to notice. Or maybe he's used to it. He stops near one of the F-16s, hands in his pockets, looking up at the cockpit like he's reading a language only he remembers. His eyes move slowly, over the intake, the pylons, the canopy frame. He doesn't touch anything, just looks. A crew chief walks by, sees him standing there. "Help you, sir?" The old man shakes his head. "Just looking." "You fly?" A pause, then quietly, "Used to." The crew chief nods politely and moves on. The old man stays. Behind him, the young pilots are still talking. One of them is bragging about pulling 9 Gs in a training run. Another's arguing about the best angle of attack for a knife-edge pass. They don't see the way the old man's fingers twitch slightly when he hears them, like muscle memory trying to surface through decades of stillness. Then the announcement comes over the PA system. "Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special demonstration today. One of our senior officers will be taking an F-16 up for a heritage flight in honor of the men and women who flew before us. Please give your attention to the flight line." The young pilots straighten up, curious now. Heritage flights are usually ceremonial, clean, slow passes. Pretty but predictable, nothing like the hard-edge flying they do. A figure walks toward the F-16, helmet under one arm, flight suit zipped to the collar. It's the old man. The group goes quiet. "Wait, is that—" One of them pulls out his phone, starts scrolling. His face changes. Holy shit. He turns the screen around. A black and white photograph. A much younger face, but the same eyes, same set to the jaw. The caption reads, "Colonel Daniel Viper, Harrow, USAF, Vietnam, 147 combat missions, Silver Star, Distinguished Flying Cross, MiG Killer." The others crowd in, reading. "He flew F-4 Phantoms, over Hanoi, in '72. They look back at the flight line. The old man, Colonel Harrow, is talking quietly with the crew chief now, checking over the aircraft with the calm efficiency of someone who's done this 1,000 times. He doesn't hurry, doesn't showboat, just works. One of the young pilots exhales slowly. "We just called him Grandpa." Nobody laughs this time. Colonel Harrow climbs the ladder. It's not fast, it's not flashy, but it's smooth, every movement deliberate. He swings his leg over the cockpit rail, settles into the seat, adjusts his harness with the kind of automatic precision that only comes from repetition, from years, from missions where getting it wrong meant not coming back. The crew chief leans in, checks connections, gives a thumbs up. Harrow nods, pulls his helmet on. His face disappears behind the visor. The canopy lowers. Seals. The cockpit becomes a world of its own. The young pilots have moved closer now, standing at the edge of the crowd, eyes locked on the jet. One of them mutters, "He's got to be 70. 72, another corrects, still staring at his phone. Retired in 89. Hasn't flown a fighter in over 30 years. Jesus! The F-16's engine spools up. That rising whine, building from a whisper to a scream. The kind of sound that makes your whole body wake up. The jet trembles on the tarmac, eager, alive. Tower gives clearance. Harrow doesn't waste time. The jet rolls forward, smooth and controlled. No hesitation. He taxis to the runway, lines up, and holds. For a moment, everything is still. Then the afterburner lights, a roar that swallows the airfield, a column of fire punching out the back of the engine. The F-16 leaps forward, wheels barely touching the ground, and then it's airborne, climbing hard and fast, pitching up into the sky like it's being pulled by a wire. The young pilots watch in silence. Harrow banks left, rolls level, then climbs again. Higher, steeper. The jet becomes a silver needle stitching through blue fabric. Then he levels out at altitude. The crowd waits, and then he drops. The F-16 pitches nose down and dives, vertical, full throttle, screaming toward the earth. The sound arrives seconds later, a rolling crack of displaced air. People gasp, cameras track it. The jet pulls up at the last possible moment, afterburner blazing, and rockets back into the sky. Not a heritage pass, a combat maneuver. The young pilots glance at each other. Harrow rolls the jet inverted, holds it there for 3 seconds, then snaps upright and pulls into a knife-edge turn so tight the wingtip seems to carve the air. He transitions into a barrel roll, slow and controlled, the aircraft rotating around its own axis like a coin flipping in zero gravity. Then he accelerates. The F-16 goes supersonic over the crowd. A double sonic boom cracks across the sky, 2 thunderclaps that rattle ribs and silence conversation. People cover their ears. Kids scream with delight. The sound echoes off the mountains. One of the young pilots is shaking his head, smiling despite himself. "No way!" Harrow climbs again. This time he throttles back, slows the jet to near stalling speed, and holds it there, nose high, hanging in the sky like a kite. The crowd holds its breath. The jet shudders. Then Harrow kicks the rudder hard, and the F-16 spins. A flat spin, controlled, rotating twice before he stops it, pitches forward, and dives again. The maneuvers come one after another. High G turns, vertical climbs, inverted passes. Each one precise, each one smooth. There's no wasted motion, no showing off, just flying, pure, clean, honest. The kind of flying that doesn't need an audience, the kind that's done because it has to be. After 6 minutes, Harrow brings the jet around for landing. He descends in a slow spiral, bleeding speed, adjusting angle, reading the wind. The wheels kiss the runway so gently you barely hear the chirp of rubber on concrete. He taxis back to the line, shuts down the engine. The whine fades. Silence, then applause. Tentative at first, then building. The crowd rises to its feet. Harrow pops the canopy, pulls off his helmet. His hair is gray and sweat-slicked. His face is lined, tired, flushed from exertion. But his eyes are clear. He climbs down the ladder slowly, one rung at a time. The young pilots are waiting. Colonel Harrow reaches the tarmac and pauses, breathing steadily, one hand on the ladder. The crew chief offers a bottle of water. He takes it, nods his thanks, drinks. The young pilots approach, cautious now, respectful. One of them speaks first. "Sir, that was incredible." Harrow glances over, wipes his mouth with the back of his hand. It was loud. A few uncertain smiles. Another pilot steps forward. "We didn't know you'd flown combat, sir. We didn't realize—" Harrow cuts him off gently. "You weren't supposed to." He caps the water bottle, hands it back, then looks at the group. Really looks, not angry, not disappointed, just seeing them. "You know what the difference is between you and me?" he asks. They wait. "Time," he says. "That's all, just time." He starts walking toward the hangar. The young pilots follow, falling into step beside him. They don't ask permission, they just go. Inside the hangar, it's cooler, quieter, the smell of hydraulic fluid and old paint. Harrow sits on a workbench, stretches his back, winces slightly. One of the pilots leans against a tool cart. "How many missions did you fly, sir?" 147. "Over Vietnam?" "Most of them." Another pilot asks, "What was it like?" Harrow is quiet for a long moment. His eyes drift toward the hangar door, toward the light outside. "It was loud," he says again, then softer. And then it was quiet. He exhales slowly. "You fly a mission, you come back, you debrief, you eat, you sleep, and the next morning you do it again. You don't think about it, you can't, because if you think too hard about what you're flying into, you won't go, and if you don't go, someone else has to, so you just go." He looks down at his hands. The knuckles are swollen with arthritis. The skin is spotted with age. "I flew with a guy named Kowalski, Danny Kowalski, best wingman I ever had. He could read me before I even keyed the mic. We flew 30 missions together, 30. And on the 31st, we got jumped by MiGs north of Hanoi. The hangar feels smaller now. Everyone is listening. I called the brake. He went left, I went right, standard. But his aircraft took a hit. Fuel line, I think. He tried to nurse it south, but the fire spread too fast. He punched out over the jungle. I saw the chute deploy, saw him land in the trees." Harrow's voice doesn't waver, but it slows. "I circled for 20 minutes, called in SAR, burned through my fuel. They told me to RTB. I didn't want to leave, but you can't stay. You run out of gas, you go down too, so I left." One of the young pilots asks quietly, "Did they get him out?" Harrow shakes his head. "He was listed MIA for 11 years. Then they found remains, sent them home in 83. Silence. "I went to the funeral," Harrow continues. "His sister was there. She asked me if he suffered. I told her no. I told her it was fast." He looks up. "I don't know if that was true, but I know she needed to hear it." Another long pause. "You fly long enough, you lose people. That's the cost. Not the G-forces, not the danger. The cost is carrying the ones who didn't come back, and you carry them quietly, because that's the deal." One of the pilots swallows hard. How do you keep flying after that?" Harrow stands, stretches again, walks toward the hangar door. The light outside is softer now. Golden hour. "You fly because they can't," he says. "You fly because someone has to. And you fly because the sky doesn't care about your grief. It just is. And sometimes, that's enough." He turns back, looks at them. "You're good pilots, I can tell. You've got skill. You've got confidence. That's important. But don't let it make you forget why you're up there. You're not flying for yourself. You're flying for the people who trust you, the ones on the ground, the ones in the other jets, and the ones who came before." He taps the brim of his cap. "Don't let the noise make you forget the quiet." The air show winds down as the sun sets. Families pack up. Vendors close their stalls. The jets sit silent on the tarmac, cooling in the dusk. Colonel Harrow walks slowly toward the parking lot. Alone now, hands in his pockets. The young pilots watch him go from a distance. One of them speaks quietly. "We should have known." "How?" Another replies. "I don't know. We just should have." They stand there for a while, not talking, just thinking. Later that night, one of them pulls up the old mission reports online. Declassified files, after-action summaries. He reads about Operation Linebacker, about MiG engagements over Hanoi, about pilots who flew into walls of flak and came back missing pieces, of their jets, of themselves. He finds a photograph. Colonel Harrow in 1972, standing in front of an F-4 Phantom, younger, leaner, but the same eyes, the same stillness. He saves the photo. The next morning, the young pilots show up early. They find Harrow near the flight line, drinking coffee, watching the sun come up. They walk over, stand beside him. One of them holds out a flight patch, their squadron insignia. "We wanted you to have this, sir." Harrow takes it, turns it over in his hands, nods slowly. "Thank you." "We're sorry," another says. "For yesterday. For not—" Harrow raises a hand, stops him. "Don't be sorry, just remember." They stand together in the quiet. The sky is pale blue, streaked with clouds. Somewhere in the distance, an engine starts. The sound rolls across the field. Harrow finishes his coffee, crushes the cup, tosses it in a nearby bin. "You know what the best part of flying is?" he asks. They wait. "Coming home?" He smiles, just a little. The first real smile they've seen. Every single time, he turns, walks toward his truck. Before he gets in, he looks back. "Fly safe, fly smart. And when you land, call someone who loves you. Tell them you're okay." He climbs in, starts the engine, drives away. The young pilots watch until the truck disappears. One of them exhales slowly. "We just got schooled by a legend." "Yeah," another says. "We did." They turn back toward the flight line. The jets are waiting. The sky is open. And somewhere, in the quiet space between duty and memory, they understand a little better what it means to carry the weight. Years later, one of those pilots, now an instructor himself, will tell the story to his own students. He'll tell them about the old man at the Airshow, about the F-16, about the flight that wasn't just a demonstration, but a reminder, and he'll end it the way Colonel Harrow ended it. Don't let the noise make you forget the quiet. History doesn't remember the loudest voices. It remembers the ones who spoke when it mattered, and sometimes it remembers the ones who flew.